Hi, welcome to Prince to Polka Dots. Today we want to share Dashwood Studios' Copenhagen collection with you. This collection has a definite Scandinavian feel, but also is very reminiscent of fine china patterns such as Wedgewood. So let's get cracking. All of these fabrics are 100% cotton, medium weight cotton, and 110 centimetres or 44 inches wide. This print is one of many in this collection which has a sort of watercolour vibe going on. The petals are all big splodges in blues, and then around those splodges are details drawn in, sort of pencil line drawing details. I believe I have it upside down, so let me just turn this one around. There we go. So hopefully you can see some of that detail in front. You'll notice that all of the stems are all underneath the petals, so there's no flowers facing left or right or up or down. They're all facing the same way, so this is definitely a print with a clear direction. The colour, the base colour, is what I would call a soft white. It's very close to just a standard white, but it's just that little tiny bit softer. Next we have a print which I would describe as a pen or pencil line drawing print. There we go. And those are of leaves. Now those leaves are all in a navy blue, a dark navy blue, and they go up and down, but they don't go left to right, so a little bit of direction but not too much there. Like lots of prints in collections, this is what you might describe as a mixer print. So whilst it works really well on its own, it's also designed to have a repetitiveness that means it really marries well, I hold it up there, with some of the others. It really adds something, but without really sort of making things look overly fussy. So there we go, that's the leaf print. Now we have birds. I'm going to try and make sure I get this the right way up. There we go. These birds are drawn in a cream colour. This is not white, it's definitely cream. These cream little birdies all have their feet sort of below their tummies looking from this direction, so this has a very definite direction, although the birds do face both left and right. It was recently used to make a beach bag at Prince to Polka Dot Sewing School, and it looked amazing. I just thought this person is going to be so envied when she walks down the high street or goes to the local cafe with that bag on her shoulder. Interestingly, she used a mustard, a yellowy colour for inside, and it really popped. It was actually from Club Tropicana, and it was the parrots in a row sitting on little branches, and it just you wouldn't necessarily put them together naturally, but they looked fabulous when they were finished. The pictures of the bag are on our blog, and the pattern for the bag will also be on the blog in October, and that will be a free download, so do head over to our blog for more information. So there we go, birds on blue. Next we have another watercolour inspired print. This one is butterflies and flowers. So we've got the flower heads and we've got the butterflies, and they are on this off-white, soft white background. Now it's a very busy print, and I would be tempted to treat it as non-directional, but in actual fact the same butterfly always faces the same direction. So this one has its antennae always going down, this one always has its antennae going up, and so on. So we have this one facing slightly left, this one facing up, so there is direction. If you're somebody for whom direction is something that bothers you, if the direction isn't right, you're that way inclined, then I think you would need to treat this as directional. But if you're somebody who doesn't mind too much things going left, right and up and down, you could get away with this. Certainly if it was, say, one way on the front of a top and a different way on the back, you wouldn't probably get away with it in a panelled skirt where the two pieces of fabric going in opposite directions are literally next to each other. But for things like sleeves as opposed to the bodice, you can get away with a lot. I think it's a very forgiving fabric, this one. Another watercolour inspired fabric, this time on an indigo blue background. So this background is darker than a navy, but not as dark as a black. There we go. All those flowers are in blues. There is no white on there. The lightest colours you can see there are very light blues. These flowers don't have stalks and stems, so that helps with trying to make use of this fabric as non-directional. But like some of the other fabrics that I've just shown you, it does actually have direction. So this sprig always goes down. On this flower, this sprig always goes this way. So there are elements of this print that if you look closely, you will see repeat, but only in one direction. But again, it's a very busy print, and you probably could get away with treating it as non-directional. There we go. In fact, you can see there these 3 flowers here, all in a very straight line, which shows you how the pattern repeats. You can sort of make out the shape of the repeat as it goes across the fabric. The next up, we have another watercoloured fabric. This one is sort of dashes or splodges or raindrops, depending on your frame of mind and the weather outside. And these are in a sort of delf type blue colour on a very dark navy. So they don't go left and right, but they do go up and down. So this one you can treat as non-directional really. And it's a great fabric in its own right, but also works really well with the rest of the collection. Now we have butterflies. These butterflies are on a blue that reminds me very much of denim. There we go. Lovely. And these butterflies are a pencil line butterfly, and they go left and right and up and down, so truly non-directional print. What's great about this is because it does have a denim feel, you can create denim-like dark garments without the stiffness of denim. So you can make tops and dresses and skirts and shorts, all that have that look, but that are softer on the skin and that drape the way cotton does. And lastly, we have sprigs on blue. So these blue sprigs, and they are a dark navy blue colour. There we go. And they are on this lighter blue background. These sprigs go in all directions, so another non-directional print. I'm sure you'll agree that's a lovely collection. Beautiful combinations of blues and creams that really works well on its own. It really doesn't need a lot adding to it. But we always like to give you some extra ideas here at Prints to Polka Dots. So we have selected some other colours and some other prints that we think work well with this collection. So before we go, I will just get those out and go through them. First up, we have some Dashwood twists. We love twists at Prints to Polka Dots. We use them with a lot of our collections. They're a great alternative to a solid colour. I'm just going to find one that will show you the pattern the best. Okay, so here's the first one that we have to show you. Now this is called Apple. It's not the obvious choice to go with this collection, but it really adds something to it. It makes the colours pop out of this collection. If I take it away and then add it back, you can see how it suddenly changes the dynamics in the collection. It's also another great one to show you the pattern of a twist. So on this fabric, what you will see is lots of circles, lots of dots making up circles, and they twist left and right and up and down, backwards and forwards they go. And in this case, they're a tone on tone, so they're the darker background with the lighter dots, which is often the case with a twist. So this tone on tone effect means you get the pattern, but it's not too in your face. It also means, because of the type of pattern that it is, that there is no direction. You can use this upside down, slightly cut wonky, and nobody will know. They're really great prints. Plus, if you quilt and you put a twist on the back of your fabric, on the back of your quilt, you can use these swirls and dots to follow to do your top stitching. So instead of top stitching from the front, do it from the back, and you'll look like an accomplished free motion quilter, but really all along you had a pattern. If you're going to use this colour with these fabrics, we also suggest introducing some of this one. So this one is gold. So this one is apple and this one is gold. Gold is one of the only ones where the colour of the dots is really pronounced, but it's got a really shimmery quality to it, and together with these fabrics This one can look really nice, so a bag lining or where you're using a single fabric. But if you're using lots of these and you only use this, it can stand out a bit. But just by introducing a little bit of the gold, suddenly, yet again, it looks like a decision that you didn't take on the hoof. It wasn't something you had sitting at the bottom of the cupboard. It was a clever design choice. Next up, we have the obvious choices, but they're obvious because they're good. Classics. So we have the white twist, which has white dots on it. It has an almost pearlescent quality. It's quite magical. And of course, an indigo blue. So swap those over so you can see the indigo blue. Indigo blue has a light blue on an indigo background, and they look great. And one more twist, we've got the grey. This grey, smoke grey, look at that. Really, again, just like with the apple, brings out something completely different in these fabrics. I often go for a dark colour to bind a quilt because I feel it makes a full stop at the end of my project. But I would really consider using this smoke, this grey colour, as a soft end to the edges of a quilt. It would just look amazing. In terms of solids, we've picked two. Also, in addition to these, clearly there's Kona white. That's definitely going to go. This one is called Grello. So this is along the same lines as the apple twist, which I'll just grab in case you were thinking of using them together. There you go. So they're not the same, but they coordinate. Look at those. Don't they look great next to the main collection? So we've got the apple twist and the Grello Kona colour. A little bit of sunshine. There we go. And of course, as well as Kona white, which I don't have down here, but we all know what white looks like, I've also brought down the Kona indigo print. There we go. So Kona indigo is very close to the darkest blues in the collection, sort of particularly this one here. And as I said earlier, you could use grey to create a full stop to this collection, but this is also a classic choice that you really can't go wrong with, either the white or go for an indigo blue for a really sort of a statement, a full stop, whether it's the lining or binding or any other element of your quilt. A really great combination. Try and think twice. I would recommend thinking twice about introducing other blues. You really want to try and match as closely as you possible to the ones already in the collection. Blue can be, it's notorious for being a difficult colour to match with other blues. So you would almost be better to try and match it with completely different colours. Maybe introduce some green or grello or yellow, rather than trying to find more blues that will go with these. You may drive yourself potty in the process. Hopefully you found that useful. You can buy all these fabrics over at princetopolidots.co.uk, and you can find lots of free patterns and blog information over on our main blog. Please feel free to join us on Facebook or Instagram, and don't forget to share your makes with us. We love to show other people them, and they're always inspiring. We never know what you're going to do with these fabrics, and it's lovely to see what you make out of them. You nearly always surprise us. Hope to see you again soon. That's all for now. Bye bye.